Anglers worldwide, I'm Jabroni Joe, and you already know that I'm back with another show. And in today's video, for starters, we are rocking the Albert Pujols St. Louis Cardinals jersey in celebration of the fact that he has returned to the team, and the Cardinals, my baseball team, celebrated a 9-0 opening day victory over the Pittsburgh Pirates. Go Cards! Alrighty, Joe Bros, getting into the meat of today's video, we are going to continue the studio series that we started last week, where I talked about my top 4 confidence baits, the baits that I throw whenever I really need to get a bite, and I think that these baits are going to do it for me. If you did not see that video, I'm going to link it down below so that you can go back and watch it, and then come back and watch this one. We're going to continue that series today by flipping a 180, and I'm going to talk about the top 3 baits that I have almost no confidence in. Now, these baits are going to be ranked in order, so number 3 is going to be the one I'm most confident in, all the way up to number 1, which is a bait that I pretty much never throw because I just don't have any luck with it at all. I promise you, Joe Bros, not all of my midweek videos are going to be just straight up studio videos like this. There will be fishing action in the midweek videos. This is just because we've had a lot of crazy weather with super high 30-mile-an-hour winds, thunderstorms, and all that over the past few days in Oklahoma. So picking and choosing my days to fish has been a little bit difficult to do. Anyway, guys, let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into my top 3 baits that I have almost no confidence in, with number 3, and that is the crankbait. Now, whether we're talking square bills, lipless cranks, deep diving cranks, or jerk baits, crankbaits have just never been my strong suit. They've never been my forte. I have made a lot of effort here recently to try and get better with them and understand them more, and it is working for me, which is why they're coming in at number 3 on the list, because I feel like here in the next few months they might work their way off of this list and I may actually start using them more. Specifically, I've had a lot of luck recently with the rattle traps, the lipless crankbaits, and the Rapala DT6. This has become one of my favorite crankbaits because it's so versatile. You can work it like a square bill, but you can also get it real down there if you need to. And speaking of square bills, that is specifically where I'm lacking. My square bills and my deep diving cranks and my jerkbait retrieves are what I need to work on, because I just don't catch a lot of fish on those particular style of crankbaits. So if you guys have any tips on how to work these jerkbaits, these square bills, or these deep diving cranks better, just let me know. I know that with the deep diving cranks, it's more a matter of you got to know the structure, you got to be able to read the fish finder and everything so that you don't get snagged. But with the square bills and the jerkbaits, what are some tips you guys can offer me to help me fish these better so I can land a fish on those on the channel for you guys here soon? And I guess the main reason I'm not very confident with like the crankbaits is because like I fish a lot of snaggy areas, and I just tend to get them snagged a lot, and I'm starting to realize that there is a time and place for them. You know, if you're fishing stumps, that's one thing for a square bill because it'll bang off of it, but fishing a lot of branches, obviously, you're going to get snagged a lot. So this is stuff that, you know, you learn. It's growing pains of being a fisherman. So yeah, if you guys have any other tips that you can offer for me down below, please do. And let's move on to bait number 2 on my top 3 baits I'm not confident in. Coming in at number 2 is the frog, the topwater frog. And I know so many of you are probably upset with me right now, but let me explain. Whether it's a poppin' frog or a plain topwater frog, I have never had luck on these. I don't think I know how to work them properly. To me, they don't look very enticing when I try to work them. And on the occasions that I have gotten a blow up on them, I'll let the fish get a hold of it. I'll let the fish drag it down. I'll wait a good 2 seconds, and I'll be using the proper setup. A 7.3 heavy fast rod, and I'll give it that hammer hook set going straight up. I've never been able to land a fish, even though I've gotten plenty of blow-ups on these topwater frogs. I've tried every which way to do it, and it has never worked for me. I have softened the bodies up by boiling them a little bit. I have turned my hooks outwards. I tried everything, every tip that you can find online. So if you guys have anything that I haven't tried, please drop it down below and help me try to land my first frogfish this summer here in Oklahoma. Thank you. Alrighty guys, we're going to move on to bait number 1 on the top 3 baits that I have no confidence in. And you guys have to be thinking, well, you've never landed a fish on a topwater frog, so what could possibly be worse than that? How about a bait I've never even gotten a bite on? That's right, I've gotten bites on the topwater frogs. It's just I've never been able to set the hook or properly land the fish that way. But this bait, no matter how many ways I've thrown it, no matter what variation I've thrown it, I've never gotten a bite on the long worm. I've caught tons of fish on a Cinco, but when it comes to either the curly tail worm, the power worm, like this 10-inch power worm from Berkeley, or the straight tail worm like this Zoom trick worm, I have never caught a fish or gotten a bite on a worm like these. Only the stick bait Cincos is the only worm bait that has ever worked for old Jabroni Joe. I have looked into different methods for this. I know you can just drag them real slow along the bottom on a Texas rig. I've tried rigging one of these on a shaky head. I've tried everything, and I mean the Texas rig is one of my favorite ways to fish. I've fished both of these on a Texas rig and have never landed a single fish ever. So if you guys have tips to help old Jabroni Joe land his first fish on a long curly tail worm or straight tail worm, something that is not a standard Cinco, please drop those down below so that this summer, when it's perfect time for dragging these big worms, we can land us a nice big fish here on the channel. And that's going to wrap up today's video, guys. I wanted to keep it short and sweet, get in and out, showing you guys my top 3 baits that I need to work on, so you guys can leave me those comments and let me know what I need to do to become a better fisherman like all of you and land the fish on those baits. Please smash like on this video when you go to drop that comment to show me how to fish these baits better. It really does help the channel out so very much. And because you guys have been so awesome today and helping me out with those comments, I'm going to give you a quick little preview of what we have for next week's midweek video. You guys already know, if it ain't Joe, it's gotta go. Angler out. Ooh, Juan's on one. Juan is on one. That's not a bad fish at all. Boom, Jeremy is on the board with another fish. Braden is hooked up on what might be a big fish. It looks pretty decent. That's good.